Hello everybody, Phil Snyder, GunClassUtah.com. Hey, today I've got another great safety lesson video based on a real life incident that happened a couple of days ago. So let's get into it. I found a news story and I will post the link in the description if you'd like to read up on it. But a former Green Beret was charged with manslaughter in Riverton, Utah, for recklessly killing his 18-year-old stepson via a handgun through an accidental discharge. The person arrested in this case was Joseph LePage Lee, age 46. He told police that he was a former Special Forces Green Beret. He accidentally shot his 18-year-old stepson, Haven McBride. So what happened, according to the police report and the news story, there were cameras inside the home that captured what happened that the police were able to review. But this former Green Beret guy was training his daughter, and the stepson was present on the couch in the living room. The suspect in this case that was charged said that he had two Glock Model 19X handguns that were in the living room, and he was using one for the instruction to show his daughter how to load and things like that. So it sounds like he got his attention off of something, and he grabbed the other Glock, which he has ammunition in, and thinking it was the other one that he was going to use that was supposed to be a training pistol. And as this 18-year-old stepson was sitting down on the sofa in front of him with his head down, the suspect racked around into the gun, and then he pulled the trigger, thinking the gun was empty again. So the 18-year-old stepson lost his life over this, and the police booked the suspect on manslaughter charges, which is basically when you recklessly cause the death of another person. And the police cited his military training on a handgun as a factor to support their reckless claim for the manslaughter charge. And the manslaughter charge can carry up to a 5-year prison term and a fine as well. So this tragic thing could have easily been prevented. And let's go over what the basics of the gun safety rules are. Number one, you always want to point a gun in a safe direction. You never point the muzzle of the gun, that's the front of the barrel where the bullet comes out. You never want to point that at anything that you're not willing to destroy or you cannot afford to replace. Number two rule is the finger should never be on the trigger until your sights are on target. You've made the mental decision to fire. The third rule is you always assume that guns are loaded until they are competently proved that they're not. The fourth rule is you know your target and what is beyond. Now let's look at what safety rules were violated that contributed to this poor young man's death. Number one rule: he did not have the gun pointed in a safe direction, obviously, when he was giving instruction. It sounds like he was probably showing the daughter how to load the gun and, to dry fire it. Number one rule was violated. The number one rule, in my mind, is probably the most important rule. And actually, I believe all four of these rules that we talked about are in order of priority. But they all need to be done together and followed, or things like this happen. Also, number two rule was violated. He had his finger on the trigger when he wasn't ready to shoot. He violated the third rule. He did not assume that gun was loaded. Fifth rule that I say to keep everybody safe is you never should have live ammunition in the room where you are practicing, whether you're instructing somebody, whether you're practicing. If you've got a loaded gun or you've got loaded ammunition out in somewhere, that needs to go in the other room. So he did several things that contributed to this tragedy. And if he had only just followed the first rule, this tragedy would not have happened. He could have pulled the trigger with a loaded gun, but if it was pointed in a safe direction, this man would still be alive. There'd be a hole in the floor, but nobody would die. So this guy that had military training, and it's funny because I actually did a video the last couple of days over other video where somebody claimed that somebody had military training like that is something special with a handgun. And as I commented, the military, at least standard boot camp enlisted men that go through the boot camp, they don't have a lot of training with a handgun. And I've got that information from veterans that have taken my pistol courses, and they say that my pistol courses are a lot more involved in what they receive in the military. Sounds to me like when you're in just boot camp, they just give you 50 rounds, or give you a box of ammo or a couple of boxes of ammo, and you shoot at a target and you're good. So it doesn't really sound like it's a lot of training. Now, him being in special forces, I would hope, I don't know, but I would hope that he would have a lot more training than just standard enlisted in the boot camp. But no doubt, complacency and carelessness was the reason for this. And then, of course, those safety rules were violated. So I cannot emphasize the need for training. This is something that I harp on students to get all the time. Whether it's from me or whether it's from another instructor, you need to go to an instructor, a licensed pistol instructor, that have had some formal training. There's a standard that they have to meet. And I know that when I went through my instructor school, I was taught by a training counselor with the NRA, and they are actually a rank higher than an instructor. And they are trained specifically to watch folks that want to be instructors handle a firearm. And so if you take a class from a licensed instructor, they're going to catch things that maybe, some family member in the military has given you. You don't know if that family member is a good instructor or not. So that's why it's always a good idea, even though, we may have police officers in the family or military members in the family. Oh, well, they're going to help me out. Okay, I don't need an instructor. Well, not all police and not all military are safe, competent instructors. I know when I went to the SWAT training school back in 2022, I had a SWAT sergeant actually flag me with a AR-15 rifle on the gun range. Yeah, it was very scary. And, this is like a SWAT sergeant here that's supposed to be able to, handle firearms really well. So, just take some training. And if you have training, if you have competent training, you're probably not going to have tragedies like this happen. Another option that our students have that come to our pistol courses is, after they've gone to the Utah Concealed Carry course and they've gone through their basic pistol and then they've gone through their range qualification for the Concealed Carry course, I encourage students to come back every quarter and qualify again. So every 3 months, you can come back and we can shoot with our instructor, and everything's timed and you have a score, 250 as possible. And I like to see you get, at least 70%. But when you come back every quarter, you're there with your instructor. They're watching the safe handling. We're reviewing the safety rules. We're requalifying on our targets to see what improvements we've made with marksmanship and the other skills and things like that. Firearms training, as I said, it has to be done by an instructor, by a competent instructor that has a really good reputation, that has really good reviews. And the other part of that is that firearms skill, including safe handling skills, is something that has to be practiced. It's a perishable skill. And so if you don't handle firearms on a regular basis and you don't shoot on a regular basis and do those things, you're going to lose those skills. And so even though you may have been initially a safe handler and your instructor gave you a license that you successfully passed a handgun course, you've got to have regular training. And that's something that I like that we do, is that we offer ongoing training and education with our pistol students. I'll also put a link into the description. If you'd like to sign up for one of our courses, contact me through our website. And if you mention that you found the class on YouTube, I'll give you free fingerprinting and a free photo, which is worth $30. Thanks for watching.